Now what you're probably wondering is what is this thing right here. So this is a capacitor bank with capacitors that claim to be 500 farads each, but they are not, they are probably a few farads. A discharge resistor, and this diode bank for reverse polarity protection. Okay, so I have my power supply right here, and one trick that I figured out is if you want a cheap, very high power resistor, I think this boy can take hundreds of amps. Don't test it, but I think he can. Take an old heatsink, and it's even variable. You can connect it to different fins. So now, because of the diode drop at, only at 1 volt, and it draws like 1 amp instead of a few amps, like 10 amps that it drew before. So we have the cheapest resistor ever, high power. And it's at 7 volt, 0.7 volts, and it will slowly charge up to 1.5 volts with 1 amp. Usually I'd take an opinion on what voltage the capacitor bank is charged at based on the power supply, but now I'm using my multimeter because I have the diode drop. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with the diodes. They're cheap Chinese diodes, so I don't know what Chinese silicon they put in them. If I clip it here, yeah, the worst resistance is the clip itself, but I can crank up the voltage, so I get 3 amps. 3 amps is too much for the diodes. Let's keep it at 1 amp. I'll monitor the diodes and everything for a hot minute, actually. Now, because I've cut it after the diodes, because I'm sure the diodes are in use for like normal everyday stuff, but when I want to charge it fast, I put it above the diodes. They're extra, you could say, just for other people to use. I don't know why I put them. I thought it was a good quality of life feature. So I cannot drop my power supply lower than the capacitor voltage. Now I can dump a whole lot more amperage. This ain't hot. Nothing is hot. I'll get them close to the 2 volts. My aim here is 2.7 volts. So let's see. Look at how faster it's charging now. 6 amp. So now I'm back. I've charged my capacitor bank to 2.2 volts. Now, why did I choose these capacitors? They're not good for an exploding wire machine. They can store a lot of energy, but they have an ultra high resistance, so they can't dump a lot of current. They're basically closest thing to batteries. Let's see the moment of truth. It's discharging fast, so they're bad. Let's see the wire getting melted. Holy. Insta melted. That's still hot. Let's see if I can melt this. Yep, I just melted that. Yep, insta melts that. Okay, so it can melt that. Let's see if I can weld. So I have this in blade right here, and I want to see if I can get it red hot. So let's remove all this. Let's remove my multimeter and stuff. Let's see just if I can get this red hot. So, but hold. That got red hot in an instant. Okay, so let's try again. I just melted my diodes off. Holy, I totally melted this. This can totally weld. These should be way bigger capacitors, by the way. They have like such a tiny little package. Their ends are getting so hot, and I soldered them properly. I soldered them with thick wire. So I have this coin right here, which I call my lucky coin, because I plated it in copper. It's the only coin like this plated in copper. It's a bad plating job. Do you get hot? Oh, the wires are melting. Yeah, these should be in a bigger package size. So I got this needle deep right here, and let's say this is a resistor lead that you wanna cut off. Okay, let's see. Oh, the wire is melted. Of course the wire just melted. Let's try the razor blade. Will you make... Yeah. That's red hot for a spot right here. But that's not interesting. What's interesting is melting solder again. Yep, this is a soldering iron. Look, I can even solder the capacitors. So yeah, that's a nice way to solder. It just insta melts my solder. No, it just insta melts the solder. Okay, so let's see, what if we direct short this? Yep, it just died. What happens if I short circuit this directly with a pair of pliers? What melts first? Copper isolation melts first. So first of all, the goddamn isolation. Second of all, the electric tape. Can you make stuff hot anymore? Yep. can still make stuff hot. Let's check the voltage. It's half a volt. It's completely discharged. Overall, it's a nice cap bank for not quite blowing stuff up because they have a high ESR. It's mostly for heating stuff up, for dumping a lot of current. It's not quite the cap bank you'd see in a Tesla coil. It's way lower voltage. You would need a lower ESR and higher quality capacitors for an exploding wire machine, which I really want to build. Anyway, see you next time.